The agenda for today is to support you important growers, especially smallholders in Alotau, especially under Milne Bay Estates. Here, under the government's intervention program, we decided to support you growers because we need to start with the plantings that we have on the ground, then we can enter into new areas. So with me today I have a check for 216,000 to Milne Bay Estates. To pay for seedlings and so that you can do the replant program in your blocks. So now I present to Mr. Roland Soupa, the General Manager of Milne Bay Estates. It's a bank check.
Give them a big hand.
The exciting thing that I see today and really impresses me is that I thought this place is more or less like Kimbe, because we have all the staff that is from Kimbe who are here sitting in front of me working for you in the Milne Bay Estate, including our General Manager. You people must be satisfied that you have a staff that will have to deliver for you in our milling company, and so we're supporting our growers in the country, especially Milne Bay Estate and the smallholders. I'd like to thank the Prime Minister, Honorable James Marape, and the Marape Government, the ruling party, Pango Party, who are very good government that has given to us in Papua New Guinea the 7 new districts. And the most important agenda of our country is to give the 3 new ministries: the Oil Palm Ministry, the Coffee Ministry, and the Livestock Ministry, which is more appropriate to our people in Papua New Guinea, in rural areas, and so is our economy of our country. I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for that. And specifically choosing me as a grower of oil palm, being the first minister of the oil palm in this country. It's very exciting for us growers, oil palm growers in the country, and this is how transformation starts. If it starts from the government, then we see that the future is very bright for us growers and for us land owners as well. Because without us land owners surrendering our land, we can see the future in this industry. The General Secretary emphasized clearly on the revenue that is being generated by our country, respectively for the commodities in this country. We have cocoa, we have coconut, we have coffee. No commodity has proven to deliver billion kina revenue to our national base. It's only oil palm that delivers more than billion kina now, moving towards to 2 billion kina and already above 2 million kina. So what that means to us growers? What that means to us growers? We really have to now commit ourselves to the oil palm itself, the plant itself, how we attend to our blocks. And again, we really have to specifically see the importance of the policies that the government is now embarking on today. Our government is not unnecessarily now establishing new ministries. The government is establishing these new ministries is because to empower, improve, and also to generate more money to our country. Our economy must depend entirely on these very important commodities that's now been given ministry. And most of all, it's a challenge. And Prime Minister has been asking me and the General Secretary to explain the plan forward in this industry. And the plan is very, very clear. The new policies for the government is one, to make sure that we plant more palm trees into customary land, into new provinces, into new districts. Again, with respect to the environmental best practices that are now delivered by our current milling companies in Papua New Guinea. That means that we must not set another second standard or third standard. We already have a number one standard that is been guided by RSPO, as we all know. So we want to build on it so that we can be able to see the best practices and the compliance of the environmental attention that we are now carrying out in our blocks and in our provinces. I commend Honorable Member for Alotau having time to commit to funding the intervention in Alotau for the smallholders. And we came here specifically for that. The intervention fund that the government has given to us last year was 30 million and only given 20 million. But most importantly, it is for the new interventions that has to be done in Papua New Guinea, especially developing new areas. We have to enter into downstream processing, and we have to acquire more land for new development of oil farming in Papua New Guinea. But why I'm here? Because I'm diverting the interest or the funding that is being given by the government of Papua New Guinea. Because we cannot enter into new areas unnecessarily. We have to see to us growers as we are today. There is more of overage planting, overage palm trees in Papua New Guinea, especially in Hoskins project, Biala project, and Oro. As we went last week, we seen the overgrown palm trees now going 30, 40 years, and it's not right, because it's really contributing to the decline of our production and the decline of our yields in all the blocks and in our total production for our country. But today, as we now here in Alotau, I just want to express that for the first time in Papua New Guinea, you growers been here for some 20, 30 years, but 40 years in Alotau. And I rather say it's important that never in life, and for the last 60 years for projects in Hoskins, Biala and Popondeta, now in Alotau, never in our life as growers receiving direct fund from government, and this is the first time. So now I'd like to say thank you to the government for now having direct fund to the oil palm as an industry. As we all know, the extension service sector, the OPIC that we have, doesn't say anything from like budget or to fund and all that. We all the time argue for funding of infrastructures, funding of fertilizers, or funding other very important programs for our blocks and so as our projects. But who are hoping, they got no money, because there is no fund for them. And again, for the last 40, 60 years, they've been supporting this industry. It's never been supported by our government of Papua New Guinea in terms of budget. And it is very sad for us. And today, why I am here? Because for the first time, I must tell you that I'm bringing funds from the government budget into oil palm and now giving to you growers. Now that is why I rather say it's important for us to see now the future of our industry. We really have to see to how we can be able to release land. We have to make sure that we attend to our blocks and we have to attend to the best practices in managing our palm fields. As I stand here today and you see me like this, I'm also a grower. I'm a bigger grower than you. And not only that, but I've been have the ranks and have been deputy chairman for the board as well, making decisions for the oil palm industry in this country. And the same thing that I've seen is that there is nothing there in the board that will have to benefit us growers, not in any way. All their discussions are on extensive service programs all the time and nothing to benefit us growers. Very, very sad. But today, we already have an opening. There is already light under the tunnel. And I commend the chairman for asking or emphasizing on the issue of our legislation and policy for the oil palm industry. We are aggressively attending to that, and it's an important agenda. That is why we have that only 30 million kina. It's not our industry for a budget, no. It's only to make sure we establish our policy and our legislations, our regulation for the industry, and then we can be able to be independent to make sure we drive an industry in this country. So in regard to that question, we're now working on the policy and the two legislations that we have. It was already been taken up by the Agriculture Minister, Honorable John Simon, that time. But how it has been done is that they worked on the legislation and not the policy. So that's why we held up the two legislations, and we were guided by State Solicitor's Office, so as the National Executive Council, to draw up the policy, and then we can be able to deliver together with the two legislations. So as here we have today, we brought also Ian. Ian is our important staff here. We're now building a team to make sure that we deliver within time this year our national oil palm policy. So as the two legislations that now been organized to be presented to NEC and eventually presented in Parliament. So that is the question to the Chairman for oil palm. And the other very important agenda that he mentioned is that we also want to see fertilizers attended to by the government. Yes, those are very important issues that we really need to discuss. And now that I came here, I'm directing the funds that is purposely for establishing the industry. But you know, we cannot be able to attend to new areas while we growers still suffer. I made the decision to start making intervention with the growers, the current growers, because they are upholding the status of the industry today by way of production and the revenue that is generated under this very important commodity. So that is why we went to Hoskins, we went to Biala, we went to Oro last week, and now we came to Milne Bay to attend to growers. So we improve our current oil palm planted status, standardize the plantings so we can improve the production and so as the yield throughout the country. So that is the attention that we're doing now. And most importantly, we work on the establishment of the new areas. My appeal to growers here, landowners here in not only in Alotau but in Milne Bay province. The interest in oil palm is here, but again it's been challenged and directed by the government. We need to get into new potential areas. And if there is space here, we have a policy by our government to acquire land and plant more palm trees. But again, it has to be done according to the RSPO standards that's been delivered by our companies in Papua New Guinea. So the very important government policy that are required to be delivered is one, to make sure that we enter into new areas in the country. And number two, we have to do more of downstream processing. We have to attend to downstream processing. And the third is to acquire, the government to acquire land so we can be able to plant more palm trees. And the target is 100,000 hectares annually. But based on our situation today, customary land is very, very tough. especially for us developers to get into customary land and try to plant. But for us growers, I know there is a possibility where we can be able to plant into our customary land by way of smallholders under the NOPIP. And those concepts will be developed in the country. The current concept in Hoskins, Biala and Poponeta, we still have to be delivered, because I think that's the best concept we can do. We partner with our developers, we growers, we plant outside of the nucleus, and we can be able to cooperate together, because the milling companies will have to guide us and protect us, pay us our money, and we continue to sustain the industry. But the government industry, the government intervention program is to make us participate. And the review of the industry policy and the legislation is more to maximizing benefits to us growers, to us landowners, and most importantly our districts and our provincial governments. That is what I've been emphasizing. I've been talking to Governor of Milne Bay today in Port Moresby, on the plane and at the airport. So if there is opportunity in this province, then show up to your provincial government, show up to your district, so that we can be able to work together and involve yourself in that development, and we'll try to draw up something important for you yourself, for your province and for your government. We have already identified potential areas in the country, in Leh, in Medan. So we're doing some follow-ups in East and West Sepik, in Western Province. So those areas we're going to look at, and again, we're not going to go into forest areas. The very best practices that are now managed by our milling companies today, we really need to stick to those. If it means we only grow grassland, that is very, very important, so that we can be also seen as a country that we are subject to the environmental management practices locally. So mi amas lo kam lo Milne Bay lo luksawe lo yubla. Now the important thing that I came here to see and also witness you growers today is the support from the intervention fund from the government of Papua New Guinea for your seedlings. We're now paying some money today to Milne Bay Estate so that they can continue to see to your overgrown palm trees, especially for you smallholder growers in Alotau. This fund will support you, pay for the seeds, for the seedlings, and you start planting. Again, with respect to the controls or the management practices that have been guided by our milling company on the ground. The question of fertilizer, we will do the same. Now we're starting with the seedlings, and we will make some programs for supporting you growers on the fertilizer. You know, the fertilizer is being taxed by the government. There is a small fee or levy to the fertilizer, and it is going to affect us growers, and that is already been seen by growers too in the project areas that we have in our country. But how we're going to see is that if we don't attend to taxing our fertilizer, it's going to affect our general view towards our global environmental best practices. So we allow it to go, but the approach is we really have to ask for subsidy from the government so we can be able to manage the price of our fertilizer for us growers and also other agriculture commodities in our country. So we will work on that one and see how we can put it to the government, and I know it will be allowable for us because it supports our agriculture commodities in our country. We cannot do without fertilizer. But I agree with Chairman. We will see to that very important agenda and support it and establish something better for us growers. My appeal to us, to you growers in Milne Bay, I'm very excited to see people all seated around here today, and I can see the interest in you. My challenge is saying we must continue to attend to our fields, our blocks, our yields, our production depend entirely on us. If we commit 100% to our blocks, we will see the outcome by way of production. And it is very encouraging today for us growers. We see we also been paid RSPO levy or fund that is paid to us growers. That is because we comply to RSPO standards in the country, because that enables our market price. So my appeal is that we have to do more work on our fields and make sure that we produce the best yields. And here in Milne Bay, as I've seen and seen from records from NOPIP, you people have improved very much. Continue to do more of those. Do better. We came from Boneta. And it was very discouraging when the General Manager of Igaturu telling us that their yields were very, very low. But it's not yet over. Now that we're having government interventions, we will continue to fund again the tall palm trees to be replanted, and we see to standardize planting in the smallholders areas and also in the new development areas that we're going to develop. That is if we have opportunity to enter into new areas. Minogat plani tok tasol mi like tok also. Thank you too much. The reception was good. Me come no airport. Me tokam mas for the participants in the reception that's been given to me and my team. Natu lawyer. This very important setup in chairman's block. This only can be done by committing to the well pump. Well pump can generate money and you build better things like this, better infrastructures, and to change your life, your welfare in your communities. Last week we went to Hoskins because the challenge all the time for smallholder, especially in the settlement scheme, is they can be able to produce from the blocks they have, but their welfare has been deteriorating. But anyway, now that government is funding direct to the welfare as an industry, we can be able to incorporate what's important for us growers, as growers. If it means we insert our interest in terms of our infrastructures, our welfare and all other very important agendas for us as growers, as a group, as an association, we seriously have to see those important areas. But today, I'd like to thank all of you, for all the growers, Milne Bay Estate staff and the management for supporting this very important program. It's the first in Alotau and we will continue to come. We'll see what's going to be implemented by this fund that is now given, and I will assure you, we will come again. We will come again and continue to come. It only comes from your response in the way you attend to this very important fund. And again, we want to see more of an increment in the yields for you growers, and we want to see more production from each and every blocks we have in Alotau. Most importantly, I'd like to say thank you for the growers, for the member putting in this money. And he's not here, he's overseas, maybe in Japan, but I just ask that he must continue to put, so we counterpart this program so we can see better outcomes from our growers in Alotau. Thank you very much and God bless us all.